Good day everyone and welcome to this new Backstage episode. I'm Ludo for Xbox Squad and today we'll be talking about Paradisiac Island, beautiful sceneries, love story, but also mysteries and forgotten civilizations. And for that, I have the pleasure to be joined by a special guest from Spain, Tatiana Delgado, who is the founder of the studio Out of the Blue Games and the game director for Call of the Sea. Hi Tatiana, how are you doing? Couple of days prior to the release of the game.
Hi, thank you for the invitation. And we are just adding the finishing touches for the game. So yeah, we are very excited.
I can imagine that must be really exciting times. Before we talk about the game itself and the rest of the thing, I ask you to introduce a bit yourself and describe a bit how you went into the video game, how you discovered the video games, and how did you end up to the video game industry?
Well, I was very lucky because my family has been playing video games since my parents got married, they asked for a video game console. So I've been growing with video games as a family entertainment. So I discovered when I was very young that I enjoyed making small games and playing it with my cousins and my sisters. So the most fun part of it was seeing people playing the small things with paper that I did. And I realized that joy is what I wanted to bring somehow to the world, trying to also emulate what when I was playing those some games like the old adventure games like Monkey Island and those games bring me something into me that I wanted to share somehow with the people in the future. So I wanted to make games. That was something I had very clear when I was young. But at that moment, the games were made by very small teams, so I knew how to draw, I knew how to create the stories, but I didn't know how to program. So I decided to study computer engineering just to learn how to program.
Okay.
And also my parents wanted me to finish college before pursuing my crazy career because I at that moment I think they didn't thought that was going to be a successful career for me. But I was very lucky, and not because I finished the college and I learned programming, but because at this university we created a role-playing game association where I was playing all day, playing board games, Warhammer, every kind of game. And a game company was scouting for people to work on video games for. It's a very old game. It's the Blade, the Edge of Darkness. And they went to that association and said, "Does anyone want to work in the game industry?" And it was like, "Me, I want to." So I just wrote to them, and I was really lucky to get into that job, and that was my first job in the games. I didn't even knew what a game designer was.
Okay.
I got the game design role because as I told, I did a lot of games in paper. So I showed those games there to them, and they saw that I was a good game designer, even though I had no idea about that. And after that, I was very lucky to be working in most of the game companies that are in Madrid, where I'm from. But after I've been now 17 years in the games industry, and after 14 years, I saw myself I was a bit burned out. Like I've lost the joy of making games. When I was at a game design workshop teaching some students, I saw in their eyes what I was like them years ago, and I've lost that joy of making games. So I thought, okay, it's the moment to create my own company.
Okay.
So I just jumped. I leave my job and create my first company that was a virtual reality games company. And after publishing 2 successful games, I decided to create Out of the Blue Games with an old colleague that is Manuel Fernandez.
Yes.
And we just wanted to focus on narrative and puzzle games. So that's why we decided to make, it's the games that we love. It's finally we are able to do the games that we always dreamed when we were young. So we are somehow fulfilling a dream with Call of the Sea now.
Okay, that's very nice. So you've been working with before out of the blue. You've been working with multiple companies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, like Tequila Works, Gameloft, King, Thinkia. I don't know, many many game companies in
All
Spain.
right. Okay. And what are your gaming influence, and what are the games that you would consider that has been very important in your life?
I would say, as I said before, all the classic LucasArts adventure games, of course. Also, games like Myst. You will probably see a lot of that on Call of the Sea.
Okay.
Then games that have a story to tell. I think, like more recently, well, not that recent, but Portal, for example, Portal 2.
Yeah.
I love how they just take the mechanics of the puzzles but they add this layer of narrative that is so amazing that it's what makes the game shine.
Okay.
And more recently, I really love games like on the puzzle side, The Witness, and on the story side, What Remains of Edith Finch, for example, is
Okay.
an amazing game for me.
Yes, it is. Okay. And on a more personal point of view, if you were given the choice, because we have seen that Call of the Sea is an adventure exploration game, would you choose to be a game developer or an adventurer?
Ah. I don't know. I think it's a tough choice. That's why probably I usually play a lot of live action role-playing games too, because I love this feeling of adventure, like feeling yourself and going through the night with a flashlight looking for something. So I think it's hard. I cannot decide.
You cannot choose. I fully understand. All right. And so then you have created Out of the Blue game. How was it difficult to create a new studio, and what have been the most challenges that you have encountered?
Yeah, I think first to find the people that because when you start a studio, as we did, we only have our savings. It's like the money is a limitation. So we decided to put a limitation of months that our money can provide. Like we are going to have 9 months, we create a prototype and we see what happens. If we fail, we just have to look for another job. So that was one of the limitations. And also, I think it's very important the team that you choose at that point to trust, because you need to be on the same status
Mindset.
of mind.
Yeah.
Mindset. Thank you. Because for example, if you want to start a company, but some of the team members or the people that is starting this prototype is not committed full time, probably is not going to be enough to make the prototype succeed. Or at least you have to know how much time each person on the team is going to dedicate and try to plan according to that, because it's very important that you get a product that you can sell. And I think that's the most risky part. And of course, also finding the funding for the game, the money for
Yeah. You did not
develop
choose to go through crowdfunding or those solutions?
No, because we evaluated the risk. Sorry. And at that moment, we realized that for games that like us, it was very difficult to get the if you ask the money that this game is really going to cost, we are not going to succeed. And if you fail the crowdfunding, then after that it's going to be very hard that a publisher trust you because you have failed the Kickstarter. So
Okay.
we did, and also because we are, in our experience, the publishing way is what we know well.
Yeah.
So we wanted to try that,
Okay.
and the first, and luckily we succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. And what's the size of the team now, and how did it grow over time?
We have been 10 people. At a certain moment, I think we were 12 with
Okay.
some freelancers. And that's it. We have full support from Raw Fury, that is our publisher.
Yes.
So they are helping a lot with QA, marketing, and all that things. But we are 10 people.
Okay. And 10 from the beginning? That's the core team that you have set up, and it stayed like that? Or did, because of the needs of the game, maybe it had to grow?
I think from when we started pre-production, once we got the funding, we were 10. For the prototype, we were a smaller team.
All right. Okay. And how is the team organized? Do you have, because out of the 10 people, you have many writers, many developers? How is it?
Yes. So we are now, we have, I think, every time they ask for the team, I tend to forget someone. So I'm very sorry about that if I forgot someone of the team, but I'm taking care of game design and narrative.
Okay.
We have another game designer and a designer and writer. We have 3, the artist, concept art, environmental and lighting artist, and an art director, and 2 programmers, and one of them is the producer also. And the sound designer. I always tend to forget the very important role of the sound of the game.
Okay. And do you consider yourself as a AA studio or an independent studio?
I think we're still independent. We will see how. We're trying to make very small games, or at least we try to small games with a AAA quality. Mm-hmm. I think it has been growing. So Call of the Sea is not that small anymore. But yeah, that was our goal.
All right. And yes, with those current difficult times and the pandemic, how has it impacted your work for the development?
Yeah, I think since we were working remotely before, because even from my first studio, the one with the virtual reality, we wanted to work from home. So I've been working from home, I think, 4 years now. So we were completely used to working remote, and in that regard, it didn't affect us too much.
Okay, so you've been always working remotely. So
yes.
Your team is spread over different countries?
We have, well, not that much. I would say we are spread all over Madrid, because we live on small towns in Madrid. We have one artist that is in Alicante, and one artist that is in Greece.
Okay. So you are remote working, but you are all in Madrid. So do you see each other from time to time? Physically, I mean?
Yes, before the pandemic, what we did was, we don't have an office, but we rented some co-working space just for meetings or a special kickoff of a feature or something, and then we would go for lunch or something, so to keep the contact.
Yeah.
But what we love is to give full flexibility to the team, so we have 2 weeks sprints, and we plan the task, but they can organize themselves as they want. If they want to work on the afternoons, they want to take it free a couple of days in the week, but they want to work on the weekend, they can organize themselves as they want. And it's working very well, because I think once you trust the people in the team, they appreciate that trust and give more motivation back.
Okay, all right. And so we are reaching now the release of the game. It has been announced last week, I think, that it will be released on the 8th of December. Um, how were the last week about the work on Call of the Sea? Is the because we talk a lot about the crunch in the industry. How was it for you? Is it unavoidable, even for small structures like you?
I think on our case is because we we want to be to put as much as we can on this game because it's our first game. But still, we didn't let the team to crunch too much. I think it's unavoidable for the last couple of weeks. You have to fix all the bugs and things like that. But what we are trying to avoid is to have everyone on the team doing overtime. We are at least only the owners of the company because we want to fix everything. So, and I'm a bit so I'm at home. I think I shouldn't do this, but I'm at home on the weekend and I say, it's so fun. I can try to add these small things to the game.
Okay.
So I should try to avoid that. I know, but I enjoy it a lot.
I guess it's more a passion than a work, in fact, because
Yeah.
you're doing the game of your dreams. Okay. And now for the publishing, you are working with Raw Furry. Can you explain us a bit how did you end up with them?
Yeah, we we went to the GDC a couple of when it went. I think it was 2019. I'm starting. It's like because of the pandemic, everything is like the same year. I'm starting
I
to.
have the same. I
I
have
don't
the
know
same
which.
problem.
So it was get GDC a couple of years ago with the prototype, and we had a meeting with them. They really loved the concept. So we have a couple more meetings, and they say they believed in us, and we signed the game with them because we really love the way they work with the games. It's not like the kind of publishers I've seen before. We are a team all together, and everyone just wants what is best for the game. So they are there to help. And it's been amazing working with them.
Okay. And what is the added value they bring to the game? Did they tell you some direction or things that you should not do or change or those kind of things, or is it entirely up to you?
We have the final word on every decision, and that's amazing. They, as you say, they give us recommendations about things,
Okay.
and also they take away from us a lot of work that is not related to development, but small studios have to work. When you have to publish a game, you have to do a lot of things,
Oh, yes.
and we are very lucky to have them taking care of those things. And we can just focus on making the best game possible.
Great. Nice. And so after having doing all that, would you redo the same, or what would you change if you had to redo it?
You always learn a lot about we've known each other in the team because we both work, some of us together in previous companies. But of course, when you do create a new team and you work together, you start realizing how to work together. So I would say along this year and a half of production, we learn a lot about how to improve the pipeline and the processes, and I think that's what I would change. But regarding the game itself, I think I'm happy with the decisions we made. And one thing I'm very happy that we did now, and we did in my previous company, is that don't lose the focus. So when you have this idea of a game in your mind, just try to follow it until the end, because I've seen in so many companies when I was working for others that at the middle of the development, they just change the focus. Instead of a first person, we are going to be third person now. And you change everything and you lose a lot of months of work. So we are trying to stick to our decisions in that regard. And so that's why I think I'm happy, and I wouldn't change anything about the game now.
Okay, so if you had an advice to give to people who wants to start, that would be it. Stick to your
Yeah.
idea and go to the end. All right. Let's talk a bit about the game now. Um, it's really a beautiful game. It looks really amazing, and I wouldn't dare to describe it. So I will let you describe the game uh, and tell us what it is about.
Well, it is a puzzle adventure game set in the 1930s. And you take the role of Nora, that is a woman that is trying to find her husband. He went to the Pacific to find a cure for her illness, and he disappeared. So you are Nora, you are sick, and you are at home, and you don't know what happened to him. So finally, you find the strength to go after him, and it takes you to this island. So what you are going to do in the game is try to follow the trail of the expedition and trying to find out what happened. But at the same time, it's like a parallel story. You will learn what happened to the expedition and also learn things about yourself. So
Okay.
it's a kind of a tale of discovering. It's like two parallel stories.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nice. And how was the story or the scenario created? Is it something from you? You have created the scenario or the story?
So how we work is that we also usually work from high level, like very generic ideas, and start detailing them. So the design team starts with an idea of the story, and then we divide it in small parts that are the levels. I call them levels, but it's like chapters of the story. And then all together, the design team decides what happens in that level, how we are going to tell the player what happened there, what happened to the expedition, and what is going to happen to Nora. And then you as a player, we have to go through these levels a bit like a detective, trying to see all the environmental storytelling that we have placed, because we wanted to be very careful with all the assets and objects that you are going to see in the level have a meaning. So you have to put all the pieces together and try to find out what happens. So you have to be proactive to find the story, I would say.
All right. And what
It's
were
part
the... Sorry, please.
No, it's part of the puzzles too. We have the puzzles, but another puzzle is put the pieces of the story together.
Okay. Okay. And what were the inspirations for the game? Because from what we have seen, it looks a bit like Sea of Thieves. That was the first first thing that we have noticed. But is there any inspiration from the cinema, literature?
Yeah, we visually, as you said, we have visual inspirations from Firewatch and Sea of Thieves. That's and I'm glad that people see that reference. But gameplay-wise, we are different, totally different. And from the movies and literature, we are inspired by a H.P. Lovecraft story.
Okay.
But we wanted to give a new take on the Lovecraft world. So if you like his works, we are doing something that is faithful to it, but at the same time completely different. I don't want to spoil too much, but I would say it's not a horror game. It's just more. We want to explore like a different Lovecraft in this game.
Okay, that's interesting because it does not really look what we can think of Lovecraft pieces, and all right, so it's different. What we have seen that the game is so it's first person. It will be first person, and what we could see, we seem to be kind of alone on the island. Will we meet other characters or animals or? We have seen some birds.
Yeah, we are going to. I don't want to make any spoiler, but yeah, we.
You're not you're not obliged to answer. That's...
Okay.
So yeah, I had another question that you probably have already reply to, but what's the place of the narration of the game? Is it the main things, or are the puzzles the main thing, or is it a combination of both?
We try to put a balance to it, but we know we're trying to appeal to a wide range of players. So if you are just into puzzles, you can just play solve all the puzzles. You will get the story like a generic version of the story, but at least you will know what is happening. But if you really like the story, we are putting a lot of extra layers, so you can like start digging into the details a lot. So
Okay.
we are putting a lot of different layers, and if you want to know about the characters of the expedition, you will see a lot of details that are just like a secondary thing. But if you want, you will have them. So, and also regarding the puzzles, if I would say they seem more difficult than they actually are. So if you are stuck in a puzzle, just by looking around and trying to understand the logic of it, you can figure it out.
All right. And yeah, you talked a bit earlier about levels. Will the game be kind of, I wouldn't say an open world, but an open island where you can go back and forth between the places, or is it really segmented in chapters where you have things to do and then go to the next one? And
Yeah, we wanted to keep the control of the flow of the story. So yes, we divided it in chapters, and on each chapter you will see different weather, light. So the island is going to change as the story changes too,
all right.
and the environment too. So you will see a progress on it, and that's why we choose to divide it in different chapters with very different environments.
Okay. And about the puzzles, how how is the process to create the puzzle? Do you have dedicated persons to think about the different puzzles, and then it goes to a kind of testing, and then you choose the most complicated ones, or the how have you managed that part?
Yeah, what we want for the puzzles first is that they feel they are part of the world. Like it's not just random things you find on the level. It's just it has to make sense in the world of the game. And what we do is one of the designers starts focus on that level. One other of the designers focus on the events that happen on that level.
All right.
And then once we have like a first version of it, we make a meeting, the whole design team, and put everything in common. So at that moment, we make the puzzles and the story evolve together, so we can intertwine and give us a sense of the story. So when the expedition found that puzzle, what did they did? What happened then? And how the player is going to find that puzzle, and how is the player going to solve it? So we put a lot of effort in making everything fit together, like making sense.
Yeah.
And then we prototype and integrate it into the game.
All right. And earlier you talked about Firewatch, and you have a good cast, I think, on the on the game, because CC Jones will be the voice of Nora, and we've learned a couple of days ago that Yuri Lowenthal will be the voice of Harry. So can you explain to us how did it happen? Is it an idea you had since the beginning, or did it came at during the development?
When we had to cast the characters and we had a meeting with Raw Fury, as I said, they are being very helpful. And when they suggested them, I said yes, it's perfect. If we can have them in the game, that would be awesome. And when we saw them the project, they said yes immediately. Cici said it was Nora is a great character, and we were so happy that they are excited to be part of the project, because Cici, we really are fans of her job on Firewatch. because the you only see her not hear the voice of her character, and you can feel the person that is there. And we wanted that for our game because it's a first-person game too, and you never see Nora. So we needed someone with a strong voice that could bring her alive, and she was a perfect choice for that.
All right. And how much time did it take you to create the game in total?
We've been since pre-production a year and a half, more or less.
A year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. that's
As I
short
said,
with a team of 10 people. And
yeah, really, I think the people, all the team were, I think they were as I was, like very burnt out. So once they had the chance to do something they believed in and they are proud of, they just work like we are. I feel like we were like a train, like a full speed going towards the target, and I think it's something that you will feel, the passion of the team, the really good job they did there.
That's really amazing.
Thank you.
And will there be any localization, translation in French or other languages?
Yeah, we have the text localized in 13 languages, I think. So we will have French localization.
Okay, subtitles.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll see in the future. We'll see if we are able to add more voice. We'll see. It's something. The problem as we are only 10 people and half a year on development is that you have to make some sacrifices, and we wanted to focus on first delivering the best game possible, and then in the future we'll see if we can update those things, because I know it's important for some players too.
Okay. And do you think there will be a physical edition or a collector edition?
Yeah, I would love that. I still don't know, but I really would love to have a physical edition.
Okay.
We'll see.
Great. And do you have any fun facts about the development that you want to share with us? Because it sounds like you had a very great team and very tight team, so
yeah,
there must be big moments.
I don't know, just one fun thing that tends to happen is that we call the puzzles by nicknames. So instead of naming them like the proper puzzle, like a serious ID, we just, I don't know why, start giving them crazy nicknames, and it sticks. And at the end, we know the puzzles. But when we report the bugs, we don't say the all ruins puzzle. No, it's like the very stupid name that we give.
Their own names. Okay. Let's talk a bit about Microsoft and your relationship with Microsoft. Have you been part of ID at Xbox program?
Yeah.
Okay.
But most of the things about Microsoft, we are lucky that Raw Fury takes care of them. So we've been, I think, as a team, we are not as direct contact because we have someone in Raw Fury that is the one talking to Microsoft.
Yes.
And they just give us like the things that we need just to development. So.
Okay. And so the game was first shown at the Xbox Game Showcase in May. It must have been huge for you. I don't know if it has been shown in any other conferences before, no?
No, it was the first time.
Really the first time. Yeah, so can you tell us a bit the difference after that show?
Wow, for a small team like us, we were all connected through Skype, watching the conference, and my hands were shaking like, oh, we are there. But I think what impacted us more was the really good reactions.
Yeah.
Because everybody loved the game and was surprised because we are different we have a lot of colors and a stylized look, so we somehow stand out from the other games, and we were overwhelmed, but in a positive way, about the good comments that we received about that trailer. So for us, it was like a huge moment.
Oh yes, yes. It was really one of the most amazing games shown
Thank you.
at that show. That was really a very very good surprise. And so the game will be released next week, more or less on the 8th of December, and it will come to Game Pass on the very first day. Um, I know that you cannot talk about Game Pass and your contractual things with Microsoft, but what is your personal view on those new services and new ways of consuming video games?
Yeah, I think I like what Microsoft is doing, that they are putting players first, like with the Game Pass and smart delivery. So I think it's good for the players that they think about that. Like, for example, the smart delivery, I know it's a different question, but I really
Yeah.
love the idea that you can start playing the game in a console, and once you update it to a better console, you can still continue playing the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing and a good strategy for Microsoft, like putting players first.
Okay. And so you release it on Xbox and PC. PC, I'm not sure now. Yes, PC.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Steam and GOG, we are releasing.
Okay. Was it a choice from yourself because you are more you have more experience, or your team has more experience with that platform, or was it by, I won't say coincidence, but by it, how did it happen to choose that platform to start with?
It was more like something that Raw Fury put on the table, and we together decided to go
Okay.
that direction.
All right. That was more from the publisher.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And yeah, talking about Microsoft, and now a bit more on the hardware side. So the new console have finally arrived, and so if you had to describe what is next gen in one word or one feature, what would it be?
Hmm. I can find just a single word, but for us developers, it's like,
Or one of the feature?
for me, I would say it's more freedom, but in the sense of I can focus on, we can put a lot of things in environments for a game like us
Yes.
without having to be just looking at the performance like we did before and in previous platforms. We are able to put so much content on each level, so much detail, that it gives us a lot of freedom. Like when I was watching our environmental artist put all the grass and all the plants, at first my instinct was like, no, it's going to kill the performance. But then you realize, no, it's working.
All
We
right.
can put a very rich detail into environments, and it's working. So I would say that like freedom to do what we always wanted to do in the
Okay.
game.
Will the game also use some other features? So you've talked about smart delivery, so it will be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And what about ray tracing, high frame rates, those kind of things?
Yeah, we will feature 4K and 60 FPS.
Okay.
And I think we published, I don't remember where, but this is a video online where we show 18 minutes of gameplay
Yes.
recorded from the console. So you will see how we keep the frame rate at 4K. So we are really happy with that.
Okay.
And the game looks beautiful in 4K.
Yeah. Great. And so will it be released also on Xbox One? Yes.
Yes.
So in this case, how do you do for development? You start with the, or you develop first on PC and then you do the optimization for the other
Yeah,
ones?
we make the game first in PC. So
Okay.
we are working with Unreal Engine.
Yes.
So it helps us to make the different versions of the game. So it's easier for us to start working on PC and then make the other versions, optimizing the differences, because the hardware has its own small differences. So
Yeah.
we have to tweak these small things, but yeah, we do that.
So in a couple of days, the game will be released. How is the feeling in the team? Are you all excited, all checking everything, or
Yeah.
are you just relaxed and waiting that it comes?
No, the team is excited to. It's like I would say excited, but at the same time nervous. Like I hope everything is okay and is going to work, and we'll see, because it's like a roller coaster of emotions now. All those huge amounts of work is going to finally be seen by the players. So we're hoping that the people, and I really hope that people loves the game.
Yeah.
So we are nervous about that.
And it has been a roller coaster in very, very short time frame. So it must have been very intense.
Yes.
Because 1 year and a half, it goes very fast. All right. And do you have already plans for the future? You already have some ideas of new games that will come afterwards? Probably with the same team?
Yeah, we will keep the same team. Yeah, we have some ideas, but first we need to rest.
Yes.
So I think once we release, we'll take a break, and then we'll see how the next year starts.
For all the people who wants to follow your work, where can they find you on the internet?
We have a website about the game that is callofthesea.com. No, calloftheseagame.com. Sorry.
Okay.
I have to check. I always forget.
I will add it to the video.
Okay, thank you. And then on Twitter we have, you can follow Out Blue Games, that is a company account. COTS Game, that is a Call of the Sea account. And Raw Fury, that is the publisher. So those handles, you can say.
And before we stop, is there anything you want to say to the future players?
Well, I really hope they enjoy the game, that we have put a lot of passion, and we are creating this for you. So we really hope that you enjoy it.
So Tatiana, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. It's busy time, but you find some time for us, so that's really appreciated. And I wish you a very good luck for the release of the game. And I just remind that the game will be available on 8th of December. And from what I've seen, we could already pre-download it for the ones who will use it through the Game Pass. So again, thanks a lot for your time, and good luck for the game.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You left a year ago to search for a cure for my affliction. An island in the middle of the Pacific that the locals refuse to even name. Your letters kept me close to you. But suddenly they stopped coming. What happened, Opal? What did you find?